Hello, I'm Angel Bonch with Red Rock Ops LLC out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is a tutorial on configuring a 2E2 frame config using the video processor simulator provided by Barco with the Event Master Toolse suite. We're using revision 5.0 in this particular video, and we'll also explain some troubleshooting at the end of the video. Before we get started, make sure you have the latest Event Master Toolse revision. In this video, we'll be using revision 5, build 35479. If you haven't downloaded Event Master Toolse yet, there are two ways of doing it. You can turn your Chrome browser to ftp.folsom.com, go into the products folder, go into the image processing folder, go into the E2S3EX folder, and go into the current official releases folder. In there, you'll always have the Event Master Super Bundle and the Event Master Toolset folder. The Event Master Super Bundle includes all software needed, including frame and console software. For this tutorial, you will only need the Event Master Toolset software found under the Event Master Toolset folder. In this case, we'll be using Windows, but Mac users also have the choice of downloading Event Master Toolset as a Mac application. As we click into the Windows folder, we'll see the actual program file, the setup.exe file, is only 121 megabytes in comparison to 2.6 gigabytes with the Event Master Super Bundle. It's always wise to read the What's New file included with the Event Master Toolset release. In here you'll always see important notes, new features, and known bugs. So please read that file before you download the software. The second way of downloading our software is go into the Barco website, go into Products, Image Processing, Presentation Switchers. Under the E2 tab, there will be a Technical Downloads tab, and as you scroll down, you'll see the same download choices: Event Master Toolset for OS X, for Windows, and the Event Master Super Bundle. After installing the Event Master Toolset suite, go to your Windows menu, Applications, and under the Barco Folsom folder, you'll see E2 User's Guide, Event Master Toolset with the revision number, Video Processor Simulator, and the What's New text file. I've gone ahead and put desktop shortcuts for our Barco folder, our Event Master Toolset application, and our Video Processor Simulator. After installing the Event Master Toolset suite, we must move on to machine setup. In order for Event Master Toolset to see two discrete frames, we must have the following: either two physical computers on the same network using the Ethernet adapter. Both must have distinct IP addresses and MAC addresses and must be on the same subnet mask. Or the second setup could be a physical computer that is running a virtual machine, and that virtual machine must have a distinct IP address, MAC address, and be on the same subnet mask. We're going to do the physical setup. I have two physical computers set up on my network. As you can see here, I'm using a remote desktop to communicate to my second computer. That computer is on the scope of 10.10.28.118 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and it has a physical address or MAC address that is unique to that particular adapter. Also, I've installed the Event Master Toolset suite on this other computer and have made shortcuts on the desktop for the video processor, Event Master Toolset, and the Barco folder. Now let's go to the master computer and see the setup there. I'm going to right click on the network adapter and open Network and Sharing Center. Now, one thing to note on both computers, we want to turn off any network adapter that we're not using. Event Master Toolset likes to bind to a particular network adapter, and if it sees multiple adapters, it may not respond the way you want it to. So we're going to go to the Change Adapter Settings under the Network Connections tab. We're going to turn off every other network adapter we're not using. In this case, I use my first adapter as ArtNet. I have a Bluetooth connection and I have a Wi-Fi connection. As you can tell, they're all disabled. The only connection that is active is the connection that I'm using to connect to my network. That network for the master machine has an IP address of 10.10 simhw.xml.28.117. The scope of your network can be a typical 192.168.0 scope, as long as it has the same subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and it has a distinct physical address as well. You should be fine. So as you can see here, my master machine is always one IP address less than my slave machine. As you can tell here, 118, and my master is 117. Before we continue, I wanted to show you exactly how the video processor simulator knows what frame to simulate. If we go to our PC, go into your main drive, at the root of that main drive there's a folder named Barco. In there you'll have your Event Master Toolse set, hopefully is your latest revision. Then you'll see a folder called WVP_9876. If you click in there, you'll see a sim folder, and then you'll see a file called simhw.xml. If we open this, we can see that this file is telling the simulator what frame to simulate. In this case, 0 is an E2, and if you head over to the README file, you can see the different frame types. But there's an easier way to generate these XML files. We're going to head on over to a website created by Nick Lloyd, and it's called simxml generator. The address is simxml.nlt.io. What this website allows you to do is to pick your frame, pick the cards, and even allows you to set your expansion slots. So here we go. So the first thing we want to do is click on the select frame. Here you can see the different frames available: E2, E2 Junior, S3, S3 Junior, and our EX expansion frame. We're going to select E2. We're going to scroll down to our expansion. We have 2 expansion slots, 8 VPUs, and I'm going to continue to use the MV slot for multi-view. As you can see here, you see a representation of the expansion slots. So we're going to go with a frame type of E2, and we'll click on this button to copy the E2 frame to all our expansion connectors. Now, the way the E2s connect, they connect from 00 to 01, 01 to 00, 10 to 11, and 11 to 10. The frame ID, this is are going to be our slave frame, so it's usually ID 1. We're going to hit the copy to all button, and it will copy the frames to everybody. And now here we're going to put the IP address of our slave machine. That's going to be 10.10.28, and in our case our slave machine is 118. If you're using a 192.168.0 scope, you would type 192.168 and the IP address of your slave computer. Now for the MAC address, or the Media Access Control address, I will put the physical address, or the MAC address, of my slave machine. So here we go. I'm just going to minimize this window so I can copy it over. There we go. That is the MAC address to my slave machine, as you can see here. And we're going to go minimize this, and now our file is set and ready to be parsed and downloaded. So down here there's a download button. If you click that, it'll download the XML. We're going to go to our downloads folder. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and I'm going to go to our WVP folder, sim folder, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that file in there, and I'm going to go ahead and replace the file. And as you can see, now the file has added this link info down here. It tells us the IP address of our machine. It tells us our unit ID. It tells us our frame, which is 0, which is an E2. And it tells you what slots. Slot 00, 01, 110, and 11. And it's telling you the information we had set up before. So 00 goes to 01, 01 goes to 00, 10 goes to 11, and 11 goes to 10. It also tells us the media access control address, which was the address we got from our other adapter on our secondary machine. All right, let's go ahead and close out of this. And we're going to go ahead and start our video processor simulator. Once we start the video processor simulator, we'll see dialogues that come up, and the last line should say Signal VP up and running. We're going to go ahead and start the video processor simulator on the secondary machine as well. Here we are. And I'm running this second machine on Windows 7. So Signal VP up and running. I'm going to minimize that. Minimize this here. We're going to go ahead and start our Event Master Toolse application. Now we're starting with a fresh project here. We're going to go ahead and look over on our discovered units, and we see that E2, which is our master, would be 117, and its MAC address. It tells us the type E2 32 layers, and it tells us our software version and our unit ID. Unit ID 0 is our master. Unit 1 is our slave. So I'm going to go ahead and drop our master in. And you can see it's populated with a standard loadout. And also you can see here in the expansion cards, because of the XML file, we have those slots are green, which means it's ready to accept the connection to a slave. We're going to go ahead and drop our secondary E2, which is our slave computer, which is our physical computer. We're going to add that as a slave. As you can see, it has actually loaded a slave unit. It says slave right here, master, and unit ID 1. And now you can see this unit's online. Once this unit's online, we can go ahead and click and start adding destinations and inputs. As you can see, we can add a screen destination there. We're going to add a screen destination here. And our project's ready to go. We'll go ahead and delete these. And there we are. Now we have our dual E2 configuration ready to pre-configure before our show. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and troubleshoot. We're going to go ahead and delete the system. Go ahead and close our Event Master Toolse. So I was having an issue where the Event Master Toolse would see a secondary machine even though I had my second slave machine up and running with the correct IP addresses set up and the video processor simulator running. But what I was getting was an error where it wouldn't show cards on the second frame. And I just want to walk you through that and how Eric Iverson and Nick Lloyd let me know what was going on. So here we go. I have a secondary simhw folder that's got the incorrect formatting. Let's go ahead and open that up. So as you can see here, the MAC address has uppercase letters. So the D, the E, and the D here are all uppercase. Now that's incorrect. And that was something that the simhw.xml website was actually outputting the incorrect MAC address formatting, something that Nick fixed today. Today is 10/25/2017. So let me show you what happens when you put that file in the sim folder under the WP 9876. So we'll go ahead and replace the simhw file. And if we go ahead and open it, you'll see here the numbers and letters for the MAC address. The letters are uppercase. All right. Let's go ahead and restart our, go ahead and close out of our video simulator. All right, video simulator is closed. Go ahead and open a video simulator one more time. Signal VP up and running. It's great. Let's go ahead and open up the Event Master Toolse one more time. So here we still see our two E2 frames, master and slave, 0 and 1. Okay. 117, which is my master, 118, which is my slave. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my master in. I'll populate with the standard setup, standard loadout. It is a master right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop my slave machine in. Now it goes ahead and drops the slave, but as you can see, the cards are not populated. And that all has to do with the MAC address in that simhw file and never connects. So we're going to go ahead and delete this frame. And we'll just delete the entire system. Okay. And close out of this. Save changes, yes, so we can come back to a new fresh system. We're going to go ahead and shut down our video processor. And now we're going to go and go back to our website, re-download our XML file. We could have just kept it in the downloads folder, but I'm just showing it so we can kind of go through the procedure again. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to go back to the barcode folder, Event Master Toolse, WVP folder, sim folder, and I'm going to go ahead and replace the file. If we go to the notepad here, we can see that our MAC address has lowercase letters, which is awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and restart the video processor. So notice I've done nothing to the secondary machine. It just keeps running over here. So VP up and running, which is great. And go ahead and start the Event Master Toolset again. We're going to go ahead and drop our master 0. And we're going to go ahead and drop our slave, add a slave. And as you can see, the second frame comes up with a standard loadout, and you are able to add destinations or auxes or whatever it is, but this is not working the way it should work. I'll go ahead and delete this destination. Delete my outputs just so we start with a fresh file. I'm going to remove the units. And another thing I wanted to show you here, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 0 just so you can see you can get a conflict. And if we go to our slave machine, you can see the VP simulator has changed 118's address and ID to 0. Not address, but ID to 0. So that will create, if I go and drop this in here, it's just going to drop a secondary E2, right? So once again, let's make sure that our slave unit has a 1, not a 0, right? If I added as a slave, with 0, it kind of hangs up. It doesn't know what to do, right? Let's go ahead and change that to 1. And now we can drop it in here, add as a slave. Let's make sure that alright, so that you can see the VP ID changed to 1. This guy's kind of hung here. Let's go ahead and delete it. Now, this is set to 1. This is set to 0, so we're going to drop our master. I'm going to drop our slave. And it does a little bit of weird flashing, but now that it's on 1, it actually sees the unit as the slave here. And it goes up. And it goes ahead and puts up the link. So you have information on how to set up your simhw file with the simxml generator by Mr. Nick Lloyd. Here you have knowledge on how to change that file here in your barcode folder Event Master Toolse, WVP 9876 sim. So now you can generate your own configurations for E2s, S3s, etc. And you know how to troubleshoot. I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.